Hello boys and girls, welcome to Mrs. Bandu's Math Movies. This is Course 2, Lesson 6-3, percents greater than 100% or less than 1%. Our objective is to convert between fractions, decimals, and percents greater than 100% or less than 1%. That's a mouthful. Okay, anyway, so basically we're just going to apply some general rules and when we have very large or very small percents. So if we want to write 140% as a decimal and as a fraction, writing it as a decimal is relatively quick and easy. We want to move our decimal point 2 places to the left and basically drop the percent sign. So that gives me 1.40. Okay, so 1.40. And you're done. 140% is 1.4 or 1 40 hundredths, 1 4 tenths, etc. Okay, here we're going to use the definition of a percent to write it as a fraction. Now, realize that if it's more than 100%, it's going to be a mixed number. Okay, so I'm going to use the definition of a percent. It's the the percent number is the numerator of a ratio, and 100 as the denominator of a ratio, and I'm going to simplify. In this case, the greatest common factor of 140 and 100 is 20. So I'm going to divide each by 20. Remember, if you don't always choose the greatest common factor, you can use more than one division step here to get to simplest form. Okay, I get 7 over 5, which is an improper fraction. To simplify that, then I do 7 divided by 5, which gives me 1. I have 2 left over, so with my remainder I make a fraction 1 2/5, or the fraction 2/5, and gives me the mixed number 1 2/5. So 140% equals 1.4 or 1.40 in decimal form, and 1 2/5 in fraction form. Again, it's more than 100%, so I am going to end up with a mixed number or an improper fraction. Simplest form would be a mixed number. Alrighty, now looking at percents that are less than 1%, write 0.75% as a decimal and as a fraction in simplest form. So again, I'm basically going to be doing the same process that I used above. I'm going to move the decimal point 2 places to the left, and I'm going to drop my percent sign. So that's going to be 0.0075. And you have your decimal. So basically that gives me 75 ten-thousandths. Okay. Now I want to use the definition of percent, so I'm going to go back here. This time my numerator that I begin with, or my first term, is 0.75. Percent means out of 100, so I'm going to use 100 as my denominator. Now, multiply the numerator and denominator by 100 to get a whole number numerator. Okay, so remember, the idea here is basically to multiply by 100, I move my decimal point 2 places to the right. So if you can remember that, that's fine. If you're getting a little confused as what should you be doing, this decimal point has to end up over here, so you multiply by a 1 followed by 2 zeros. So then that gives me 75 over 10,000. I'm going to simplify by dividing by their greatest common factor of 25. So I'm going to divide each by 25. It's going to give me a 3 on the bottom, and 3 on the top, 400 on the bottom. So 0.75 or 75 hundredths of a percent equals 0.0075 or 75 ten-thousandths in decimal form, and then 3 over 400 in fraction form. So basically I'm just using some number properties by moving my decimal point, and then the definition of percent. Something over 100. It's going to be, again, this fraction should be fairly small because 1% is 1 over 100. If this is less than 1%, the fraction is going to be pretty small. Okay, so you have a couple of quick checks here. And let's see what we have on the back. We do have a couple of more examples, so I'm going to go to those at the moment. And writing mixed numbers as percents is our next example. The sports stadium at a school has 4 2/3 as many seats as the auditorium. Write this mixed number as a percent. Round to the nearest hundredth. So if it asks you to round, be sure that you read and follow those directions. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to convert 4 2/3 into a decimal. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of mental math and mostly a calculator though, because you're going to want a calculator. So 4 times 3 is 12 plus 2, which is 14, and then I'm going to divide by the denominator of 3. These are your keystrokes in a calculator though. 12 plus 2 divided by 3 equals, and you get 4 and that repeating 6. Most calculators are going to round it to a 7 at the end. Okay, now what you want to do is to write this as a percent. We're going to move the decimal point 2 places to the right. Okay, so that's going to be 466 and 67/100ths of a percent, or 466.67%. So the number of seats in the stadium is 466.67% of the number of seats in the auditorium. Okay, that means the stadium is much bigger, almost 5 times larger than the auditorium. Remember, 100% means that they would be the same size. Okay, so anything over that means it's several times larger. An animal shelter has 4 beagles available for adoption. There are 481 other dogs for adoption that are not beagles. About what percentage of the dogs are beagles? Okay, so first off, the dogs means all the dogs all together. So the first thing we want to do is add 481 plus 4 to get 485 dogs. And that, again, this is the total of all the dogs. Alright, so our comparison is going to be the number of beagles that they have available over the number of total dogs that are available. So that's 4 over 485, or 4 divided by 485. Using a calculator, you're going to get, and I'm going to have the answer, but I'm going to double check myself. So that's 4 divided by 485 equals, and you're going to get 0.0082474. We want to write as a percent and round. So remember, that means I'm going to move my decimal point 2 places to the right. And look here, these are rounded, and basically I'm looking up here to see which one of these is the most reasonable. So if I round this, I'm going to get 0.82474, or very close to 0.8%. So about 0.8% of the dogs are beagles. So my correct answer choice is, in fact, B, from above. Of course, we know that I usually don't give you multiple choice questions, so I would probably specifically say round to the nearest 0.1% or the nearest 0.100%, so that you would know. Or at least that would be my hope, that I would remember to do that for you. Okay, you have 2 more quick checks at the bottom of this page. Please have these completed and bring in any questions for next time we meet in class. I look forward to seeing you then. Bye.